Hey guys, welcome to Feature Creatures DTF. I am one half of your host, Jordana, and with me as always is my great friend and co-host Sam.
Hello, how are you doing, Jordana?
Good evening, my friend. I am doing so much better now that I'm hanging out with you. I had a very stressful day.
I'm sorry to hear that. Hopefully, we're gonna have some fun talking about crazy movies, dumb movies.
Oh yes.
Um, but yeah. So
Um,
what you been up to since our last step?
just working, doing like the norm living thing, but today I had to get pre-sale tickets for Miss Lana Del Rey that I'm rocking on my chesticles, and that was the most stressful thing today, trying to score two fucking tickets to the show. But I got them, so everyone can relax and not have to worry if I'm going or not.
Well, I'm glad you're going. I know you love her, so.
Thank you. I'm excited. I'm taking my niece for her 20th birthday.
Oh wow, I would have assumed that would have been your hubby, but you're like,
Nope.
nope, that's not happening.
Nope. I was like, okay, who would I? And I love Greg because you know how much
Oh
we have fun together.
yeah,
But I'm like, who would enjoy this with me the most? And I was like, you know what? Her birthday's close to the time. I'm gonna just be a cool aunt and take her. It's at Fenway Park.
that's a
Um, yeah,
damn.
yeah. It's like it's huge. I didn't realize how big the stadium actually is. So
Yeah.
the vocals and the acoustics, I'm sure, are going to be out of this world. So I'm really excited for it.
So I'm not a baseball person. Isn't Fenway Park where the Boston Red Sox play?
Correct, my friend.
So you're
Yes,
going to Boston for the show?
I am.
Oh, is she
It's
not playing closer to you?
so she just played Coachella, and they do like the 2 week thing, and I'm too old for Coachella, and I can't get down with Coachella. So she announced that she was doing one special night at Fenway, and that piqued my interest. And I was like, you know what? I don't know if she is going to go on tour, but this will be a fun experience to do with my niece. So she's working super hard. She just got a new job. I'm proud of her. She's killing it as a young adult, and we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Hell yeah, that'd be awesome.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
What about you? What have you been up to?
Oh, same old nothing. Being my little hermit self. I've seen concerts that I'm like, ooh, that would be cool to go to, and then being like, no, I'm not going to that.
I ain't doing that.
there's like, there's literally I what my favorite band of all time is back now, and they're coming to
Oh,
town, and I'm like, probably not. I've already seen them like fucking 10 times. And
Sam.
that's Say Anything. That's my favorite band. And then a band that I love who I've never seen live. And I literally there's comments of me putting them on their Instagram being like, please come to Chicago. It's this band called Kitty, which is like a new metal band. I don't know if you remember Kitty.
Yeah, you were talking about Kitty, and I remember us having conversations about Kitty.
Yeah, and so they finally announced an American tour, and I'm like, and they're coming to the city, and my friend sent me a link to get tickets, and then I was like, nah, I'm good.
No, buy the concert tickets. You okay? Can I just say something though? Like
Yeah.
not to like make guilt you live on our show or to like make it sad, but today one of Greg's like most cherished favorite artist, Steve Albini, passed away, and he was the lead singer for Shellac, and he's an amazing producer. He was on Nirvana's album. Like just this man and his effect on music is crazy. And
I,
he died
s-
of a
I
heart.
saw people like doing appreciation posts for him today.
Yeah, and he died of a heart attack today. So you know what? This is the PSA to people. If you're in doubt about going to a show, do it because you never know what's going to happen.
That's true. Well,
But
I don't know. Maybe I got some time. Maybe I'll hop on. I don't know. We'll see.
I just love it because I know in your mind you're going, Jordana, you're funny, but fuck you, I'm not going.
I'm just so like, ugh. Like
I know.
I hate. I'll be honest. Like I I hate going to the city.
Mhm.
Like that's the biggest thing for me. I like the concerts. Are fun and love. It's just, and it's only like 30 minutes for me to get to the like city. but I
Yep.
just fucking hate being in it because I don't know. Some people live off that and like, like they love, and not me the whole time. I'm just like, everything costs too much. There's too many
Yep.
people. It takes forever to get everywhere. Like,
It's so overpriced. Like I completely understand what you're saying. Like looking at like even if to stop to get something to eat, it's so much more pricier than if you would be, where you live. I get it. And another huge thing is people.
yeah, at least when I'm at like a concert, I'm with people of the same ilk.
Mhm.
You're kind of have like a hive mind when you're in that situation. But when you're
Yep.
just out in the city, I'm just like, oh God, there's too many fucking people. Like,
Yeah. Big cities, like you said, a lot of people love being in a city. And I like to visit, but I like to visit for like no longer than, to be in an actual city. Like I'm talking, Chicago, New York City, any big, like I just a day, maybe two, and then I'm good to go home.
yeah, I haven't been into the actual like heart of the city in 2020. We went to a comic convention as as COVID was like really becoming a thing. I remember like people were literally making jokes like, haha, you gonna buy a mask? And I was like, I'm not putting a fucking mask on. Were you kidding me? Oh, how that changed.
Yeah, like it's so crazy to think about COVID still. Like, because it's not to me. I don't know if it's for other people because I'm sure it's, still a big thing for people, but it's something I forget, but I'm just like, man, we lived through a pandemic.
Yeah, I've laxed on it. Like I was extremely like I'm a
Mhm.
germaphobe by nature,
Yeah.
so like that was a particularly hard time for me. Not to get too serious or whatever,
No.
but like I was like legit like still wearing a mask out in public like up until like a couple months ago, and even now like for some reason like when I go grocery shopping, I still do, and I don't know why. I'm like, why is that different than being at like fucking Chipotle? I don't know, but like
I don't think it's a bad thing to still wear your mask because the thing that really gets me is that it was such a hard concept to grasp that people had to wash their hands when COVID was happening. It's like being on a somewhat side of a germaphobe, I don't understand that. Like, do you not wash your hands after you wipe your ass?
I mean, the sad part is that no, some people do not.
I know. Or
And it
pee.
drives me insane.
It's
Like
so gross.
it's disgusting. I have read though that like that like Americans like post COVID, like the percentage of like people who are like, I wash my hands more regularly now, or like has gone up substantially. And I'm like, it only took a worldwide fucking pandemic to get you to wash your goddamn hands, you goddamn animal. Like
I know. Like, do we have to fake pandemics now? Be like, swear to God, you
just
better.
at the minimum, throw some Purell on them bitches, but whatever. Like,
Yeah, damn. It's like I'm with you. So I'm happy that that period's done, but let's talk about happier things. What have you been watching lately?
you know what I've watched.
I know. I can't wait to
I
talk about it.
finally got to watch. Shudder decided to not be a dick on movie night this week,
Woohoo.
and I finally got to watch Late Night with the Devil.
Oh, I'm here for it. We had a mini like debriefing after you watched it, and I'm so happy of what we talked about. So let's discuss it. Like Late Night with the Devil. I mean, for you, what were like some high points in this movie that made you enjoy it?
I I loved the presentation of it. So just off the bat, I mean, I'm gonna say I thought the movie was great. I
Mhm.
did have kind of one really big issue, but if I liked 98% of the cake and like 2 bites of the cake were kind of gross, it's still pretty good fucking cake. Like,
Thank you for saying it like that because I'm with you. It's like if it's such a high percentage, I'm not too concerned about the crummy little other parts that are dingling. So
yeah.
yeah.
So, but I think the presentation overall is really what I liked about it. I liked the concept. I mean, it it very much reminded me of like and I've seen other people like affiliate it with this, but like you ever seen Ghostwatch?
Yes, I not like real recently, but I watched it this year. And because I started it a couple, like maybe last year, and I think I fell asleep, but I actually finished it. I really enjoyed Ghostwatch. I thought it was done very well.
Absolutely, and I think what makes that movie and what makes this movie is the wacky world that they present, but like it makes sense because you're living in this wacky world of a late night 70s talk show. And I just thought that was, I honestly, like, what like is crazy about it is I may have enjoyed the scenes that were non-horror more than I enjoyed the scenes that were horror. Like, I'm not saying that I didn't like the horror scenes, but like just watching the talk show like was really fucking fun. Like,
I love that part of it because it really felt like you were watching. It brought me back to like when I was at my grandparents' house when they would watch like Lawrence Welk, or they
yeah,
would watch shows from, like reruns from when I would watch them with them in like the 90s. The way that it was shot and done, and I love how it went from color when they're on TV to like black and white, and that transition back and forth I thought was done beautifully.
absolutely. I think that was, to me, that's like what sold it. Like, not exactly, like I said, there's other movies that have kind of done it before, but
Mhm.
it's a seldom done thing that like it felt fresh. It felt like when I watched this movie, I wasn't like, oh, I'm watching. And sometimes I'm going to say this bad, but I'm not watching a recycled movie. Like, and which is
Yes.
crazy because sometimes I'm like, dude, I just want a copy and paste Killer in the Woods movie. But this was a movie that I watched that felt fresh. It felt like,
Mhm.
okay, this is something that if I've seen before, I haven't seen in quite some fucking time. So I really enjoyed the overall aesthetic, vibe, and feel of it.
I am totally with you. Now, my next question to you, I have two questions for you. The first one is going to be if you could pick like one or maybe two, who are your favorite characters in this movie?
Oh, that's super easy. Again, I've only seen it once, so I may be getting the names wrong, but I think his name was Carmichael.
Mhm.
The skeptic. I thought he was fucking hilarious, and
Yep.
like it would be me too. I would be the one who would be like get this is all bullshit. Like, what are you talking about? Like, just shut up. Like, you're a fucking scam artist, and this is fucking. And I
I know
love
what they're
him.
doing. Yeah.
I love him reacting when he's like, did you set this shit up? Like,
Oh yeah, when all the shit was like, yes, and he's like, did you do this? It's like, and that's the other thing I loved. Okay, was and I thought his performance was fantastic. I actually it's weird to like find a movie that where I love all of the actors that are on screen. You know what I mean? Because like David's performance, there was something about, I don't know if it's, and I hate saying this, I don't know if it's like I'm sexually attracted to him or what it is, but I was so mesmerized by his performance that I was just like, I was 1,000% for David.
I I mean, I get that, and I'll be honest, I think sometimes that helps. Uh, I
Mhm.
watched, what the hell did I watch the other day? I watched, oh my God, what was it? It had, I don't remember. I was watching some movie and had Charlize Theron in it, and it wasn't even like a particularly good movie, but I was just
Mhm.
like I'm into this, but I think it's because I'm just into Charlize. Like,
By default, but like that's the best thing about it is like it's eye candy or it's something that's enticing, but it's actually a good movie to watch. So it's not like you're only invested because of that person.
yeah, and he's also very talented, and I think he plays this
Mhm.
role really well. Being kind of walking that line in the movie where you're not really sure how to feel about him. You're like, he's kind of a sleazeball, but then he's also kind of like a romantic,
Yeah.
and you're not really sure which way to feel about him. So I thought he walked that line pretty well. Although, I mean, it I will say I didn't know that the ending was coming, but I wasn't like shocked when they were like, guess what? He's not really a great guy. I wasn't like, oh, you got me.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, like, oh, I didn't see that coming.
yeah.
Yeah, I totally get that. But another huge part of what I loved about this movie, and I can't wait to post about it even more, is some of the most beautiful shots that I've seen. Like, and to pinpoint it would seem weird, but like shots of the audience, and then when that skeleton they like zoom in on that skeleton. Like there were so many times in this movie where I felt like I was supposed to like feel a certain way, and it provoked those emotions out of me. Like you knew something was up. You know what I mean? Like when Lily came out and she's staring at the camera for
Oh yeah.
that long period of time, I felt so uncomfortable. The first time I watched it, I looked away. I was like, she's freaking me out.
Well,
Uh,
I also really liked his I don't know, his sidekick, his what the fuck was the
Gus.
bald guy's name from David Letterman, but whatever.
Gus. I loved Gus. I thought he was right. He's the little dude that was playing the little
Yeah.
chime thing, and he had like the devil horns.
Yeah, with the worm.
Yeah. Oh no, so weird.
Which was my favorite part of the movie.
Mhm.
Like scene, just on a scene, like what I'm looking at, I was like, all right, this is cool.
Yeah. Well, I'm just so excited. But now to get to the so what was like what are your negatives or the cons that you would say from this movie?
The only negative that I have, and again,
Oh,
no,
Ghostface.
I broke something.
Oh no.
Whatever. No, I didn't break something. I dropped. Never mind. Don't worry.
Okay.
And like I said to you, I really enjoyed the movie overall. Fucking, I'd probably give it like an A minus. And the only reason I'm deducting A to A minus is I thought that the ending was, I don't know, the last like 5 minutes of the movie, I was like, okay, well, this seemed like two things. Like it felt like it just went like, you know, we're living in an absurd world, but now like when you transport to another place, you know, I didn't like I'm like, okay, no, I want to see it all happen on the set. Like that's
Yes.
what this movie
Mhm.
is. And now all of a sudden he's somewhere, you know, doing other shit. And then on top of it, like you know, the reveal that like he stabbed everybody in an what I believe is an empty TV show. Like there's no
Yep.
people in the crowd.
Yep.
So I'm like, so why the fuck were those people there then? And like, so like, I'm just like it in my, now I'm like, well, in my head, I'm like, none of this makes fucking sense now. So there was nobody there, but he was doing a show for nobody. What are we talking about? Like, and the fact that like, I don't know. I just felt like having him kill, Lily and all the other people or whatever, like to me, that just felt like, for a movie that was so like unique and pretty original, I'm like that felt like the cut and copy paste ending that any writer would have put in this movie, and I wanted to see something more unique for such a unique film, but it was kind of basic, I thought.
I see that too, but so here's my thing with the ending. So the way that I perceived the ending was, and we know that, like you said, he went to another place because I don't want to like
Dimension, where what? I don't know where that was. Like,
I know, and that like I was like, but I think what happened was the it act like everything that happened in the finale did happen, but I think that he just stabbed Lily because I think everyone already cleared out and he was just standing there afterwards, like because he thought he was stabbing, you know, his wife. But I think everyone already left and the damn like everyone was dead, like Carmichael, Gus, oh my god, what was her name? The doctor. I think
Jane, I don't remember.
yes, I think all that happened, and then he just ended up killing Lily. But that's see, it's I love it and I hate it that we're both like interpreting it differently, but still feeling a certain way about it. Like that
Well,
was a
even
weird
if you
ending.
are right, then like, because I actually like that idea too. And I'm like, okay, I didn't think, again, I've only seen it once. So, you know,
Right.
second viewing, which I will watch this a second time,
Yeah.
is, well, then at the end, he's going to be okay. Like nothing bad's going to have happened to him because, well, A, he just revealed the devil's real to the world.
Mhm. Yeah. Yes.
And B, it's not like he's going to go to jail for murder because he killed the devil. So like, you know what I mean? It's not like everybody saw that she was literally possessed by a demon. So
Mhm.
like, it's not like, you know, then that sort of takes away the end, because I think what they want is to be like, oh, the cops are coming and he's fucked. And it's like,
Yeah.
Is he? Because I think he's the hero. He just killed the devil. What are you talking about?
Exactly. And then it's like you're supposed to hate him, but then at the end it's like, well, I mean, granted, like he pushed it so much and it led to like everyone on his show being killed and like people being harmed, possibly in the audience. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't know. I've watched it. I can't even tell you how many times. I think I've watched it already like 5 or 6 times, and I plan on watching it when my in-laws come down, and I'll probably watch it when I'm baked and I don't know what to watch because there's just something about it that I just love to watch. Like it's just
It goes down pretty smooth. Like I said, the last 4 minutes is where I started to kind of roll my eyes. But
Yep.
other than that, I mean, and it's not super long either. I don't think
Mhm.
it was kind of a hour and a half, right around there. I feel like.
Yep. It's I think it's a breath of fresh air. I'm glad that we got it this year. And the last thing I'm going to say about it is I love the feeling. I don't know if you felt this, but at the end when the wheel was circling and Gus was like telling the old lady to spin it and it kept spinning and he's like when David was staring at the camera and he's like, turn it off. Turn it off. It reminded me of Tom Atkins in Halloween 3.
Oh, okay. I could see that.
I
I could
got
see
Season
that.
of the Witch vibes and I he's a very active person on social media too. So anytime like you share anything about late night or tag him or comment, he likes it. He'll comment.
When
He'll like
you say he, do you mean David or the brothers who made this movie?
David.
By the way, that's a question I'll ask you real quick because you
Mhm.
love this movie. I know two brothers made this movie,
Yep.
and I had never heard of any of them before. Have they done anything else?
This is they're Australian, which
Okay.
I feel like Australian horror slaps. Like Talk to Me was so good. Sissy was good. I'm missing Wolf Creek. Like we've had so many bangers with Aussie descent.
The first one that comes to my mind is I think there's a movie called Boar. And it's about a
Yes.
giant fucking pig. And I was like, I like that movie. It was dumb, but I liked it. Like,
We'll throw Boar into the mix too, but like this was their like debut, and I think they killed it. And to everyone that's listening, I'm not even giving any attention to this AI
oh yeah.
bullshit, and I'm not even gonna like to boycott it. Do you know how many big studio productions use AI
Like
all the fucking time?
yeah, I don't even want to like I
Yeah.
wasn't even going to bring it up because it's so stupid. Like here's the thing. I understand the argument that like oh,
Mhm.
but that took away a job from an actual art.
Yes.
It was 3 still images and this was a small independent fucking company. Here's the thing. If fucking, the Avengers did it, then I would have an issue because they have the money to pay the artists. This is fucking
Exactly.
two brothers who made a movie. And if you're going to boycott this movie over 3 images, that just pisses me off because like, here's the thing. Their next movie, someone's going to give them a bunch of fucking money to make another movie because this one was so successful. Maybe in
Right.
their next one, now they can pay their fucking artists. It's like, it just
And you know
pisses.
what? It pisses me off too. And David even addressed it. He was saying that like they use the money for practical effects, and I'm so happy they used practical effects in this movie. Other than the one thing that we won't spoil, but like,
I mean, we pretty much spoiled the whole movie, so I don't know why you're being like coy. We literally were like, David's a piece of shit. He kills Lily. The end.
I know we should have put like a hey, if you don't want to know, this is a spoiler review. But like when her head separates, like that part was cool. Like when she's connecting the electricity, but when she like split in half, I was like, that would have been cool if they did it somehow like practically. But I know that's probably hard to do. But you got to appreciate them putting the money where it fits for a small
Absolutely.
independent horror film. And
And
I
I didn't even mind that effect.
I didn't either. You know what? I didn't. It didn't. It didn't change how I was feeling in that climatic scene.
The only effect that actually kind of took me out of it a little bit was
Mhm.
when they pull back and they reveal that his wife's ghost is like standing behind him, and she looked a little, she looked a little goofy. I'll say like very bright and like I don't know. It just to me like for whatever reason that effect I was like oh that just looks weird.
They should have literally like turned the brightness down,
Yeah.
literally 2 notches, and I would have been fine with that because I'm glad that you brought that up. Yes, that did take me out of it as well. But
but it's a
other
small
than
thing.
yeah, other than that, you can't beat it. So Late Night with the Devil has a high regard on feature creatures, and we don't want to hear anything about the AI.
No, it's probably. I mean, I think this year. I mean, I'm trying to think of like horror movies that I've seen this year, and I always forget them. But I think it's top of my list so far.
Me too.
I think I can't really think of anything that comes close to it, but I also have a fucking terrible memory, so I don't know.
We'll just say that it's up there for now, but I have a feeling it'll stay in the mix of the top with the rest of the year to come, because there's some bangers that are coming out that we discussed last time. So
Yep. And yeah, which I just want to plug because I really want, I really am upset that I didn't talk about it on the show before. And even though he's a much bigger YouTuber than us, and I just feel like please go check out and when it comes out, Shelby Oaks, which is made by the YouTuber Chris Stuckman, who has been a movie reviewer for I've watched for probably close to 15 years on YouTube, and he's finally making his first feature film. And he's already shot all the production stuff, or like all the principal photography, but somehow now Mike Flanagan has apparently reached out to him and is going to be involved in the project. And that I was already going to fucking like buy the Blu-ray or whatever when this movie comes out. Now I'm super excited that Flanagan is reaching out to a young filmmaker.
I think that is so amazing of Mike Flanagan. That makes me love him even more, because Mike Flanagan is the real MVP. So anything with him attached to it, and with your high regard, definitely, like, I'm already sold. And speaking of Mike Flanagan, like, please, I mean, granted, Exorcist, Deceiver, whatever, is not a necessity, I feel like, in film history, but like, that's cool that he might have a part of it, because maybe it will be worth watching and not regretting watching it. But
I would have more hope for it if he was involved than most other directors.
Than DGG. Or or like anyone else that would be on the project.
Yeah, most anybody else I wouldn't really. Blumhouse is not exactly on my favorite movies of the year list so far. So
they keep going down for me, Sam. So I'm right there with you. But speaking of films, we have a fun segment tonight, I feel like, and it seems so easy, but it was hard. Like, you and I have been texting back and forth, like, oh, my list, my list, this and that. But we're doing the ABCs of our movies.
Yes. So, and what that means is this is Jordana's brainchild, to help to just as a segment to get to know the feature creatures.
Yeah.
And if you want to DGF with drinks, tangents, flicks, you perverts. Anyway, we're going to be doing the ABCs of the feature creatures, where we're going to do short little movie reviews on 26 films, one for each letter, and we're going to go back and forth, and we're going to see how this goes.
I am so excited for this, and I just feel like it prompts you to like think of your movie catalog, like.
And I tried to go all, and I don't want to show too many in there, but I tried to go all physical for movies that I had. Now, granted, I'll say there's some letters that I was like, holy fuck, what am I what am I gonna do for this letter? But all right.
I know, I was the same way. And then I you're gonna laugh at me, but I have my list, but I scrapped it, and I'm trying to go off the cuff, because I just still felt like, as much as I wanted to be different and not say like certain movies, I feel like I owe it to the letter to say it.
And that's fair. Like, I tried to go like a little differently. There is one that I had to make an exception for. I'm like, this movie defines me as a person, so like I have to put it in there. But like a lot of these, I'm trying to go a little bit off the book, and it's not going to be all horror either. This is just, this is all just the movies that make us who we are.
Yes, and I'm excited because I know that there's going to be some hidden gems from you, and there's definitely going to be some that you're going to be like, what? But so Sam, we decided that he's going to kick us off with A, A is for apple.
And for me, I am going to be starting specifically with American Pie 2.
Oh, yes.
My favorite in the franchise.
Yep.
I cannot tell you how many times I fucking watched this movie as a kid. And I still think it's hilarious, and it very much, I think, was influential on my sense of humor in general, because I still am like, like when I watch this fucking movie, I love it so much.
It's like the epitome of what comedy was, what it should be, and makes me sad because I want more American Pie.
I am okay. Just as a side note, because again, we do tangents, perverts.
Mhm. Yeah.
Anyway, um, I don't really care about Tom Brady. I am a football fan, but I am so happy. They're like comedians who are like saying that like that roast of Tom Brady was a turning point for comedy, because all of a sudden people were like they're like, when was the last time you heard people tell dirty, offensive jokes and nobody bitched, everybody laughed, everybody had a good time? They're like, that was so like a lot of comedians are like that, and the success of that, they're hoping that that continues to balloon and comedians can be funny again. And I'm like, fuck yes.
It is so weird to think that Tom Brady's roast would be the seed that is planted to fucking start comedy. And mind you, I haven't seen it, but I did watch a clip of when Kim K was on there, and I hate her. I hate the Kardashians. So to see her get booed
Made you feel
literally
good.
it made me grin from ear to ear. And I'm not that person. I'm not like mean, and I don't pick on people, but I cannot with them. I can't.
Oh, I mean, I'm totally fine with that, but I think I'm trained to be a little meaner. I don't know. I went to a lot of pro wrestling shows, and you're encouraged to say the worst fucking shit on the planet. So like, I'm like,
Too bad.
but anyway, A
Okay.
for American Pie 2, and let's go to B for you.
So I'm going with, I don't know why this movie popped into my head, but it was such a staple in my childhood. And it's still like the dreams of every American, any person. It's Blank Check.
Ooh, okay. That is not where I thought that was going.
No, but I just remembered how much I love that movie and watched it thinking, I wish that I had luck like this kid so I could have a pool in my backyard and I could go do shopping sprees. And I love Blank Check. And also too, a 10-year-old kissing, what's her name? Oh my God, the girl with the short hair. I can't think of her name.
It's
And
been
she's super
so
pretty.
long.
You know who I'm talking about.
I can look it up real quick, but no, it's like I owned that movie on VHS, and that was probably the last time I saw it.
Oh
But I
man.
loved it as a kid. I absolutely loved it as a kid.
Karen Duffy.
Well, that one's, but either way.
Yes. And I just remember like thinking back to it now, it's like, oh, she's kissing a 10-year-old. But back then, it's so like no one, it's movie purposes. It's not real. It's fake. And there's something about this movie that I love. So B is for Blank Check.
I love it. I love that. That came out of nowhere, and I'm glad you caught me off guard.
Told you.
All right, and then C for me is just a movie that I watch fairly regularly because I love it so much, and that is Crank 2, High Voltage.
I don't think I've ever seen that. And is that Jason Statham?
Yeah, this is where my love for this is my man crush, Jason Statham. Anyone who listens to the pod knows that. I love this man and his British accent. I can't do it.
It's close.
But Crank 1 is okay. Jordan, of all the movies we talk about tonight, I'm telling you, please watch Crank or Crank 2. Okay. They're both great. The premise of them, because you need to. Okay, so Crank 1.
Yep.
Jason Statham is a hitman, and this a fellow gang, or I'm simplifying, gives him a poison, and the only way he can fight the poison is he has to keep his adrenaline up, otherwise his heart will stop. So he's like running around the city trying to like get his revenge, but he has to do like he like has to like fuck his girlfriend in the middle of like the street. He has to like he's punching people. He's putting a gun in his mouth. He does like a mountain of cocaine. It's like it's awesome.
I love it. I love it.
Crank 2 goes absolutely insane. Crank
Okay.
2, now he's had his heart removed and it's been replaced with a fake heart that he has to keep up with electricity. So now he's running around fighting people again, but he has to like keep the electricity up in his body. So he's like taking like car batteries to his nipples. He's rubbing on old ladies for like friction to like keep the electricity going. It's just there's a scene that defines me as a human and everything that I love. So the whole movie is real, like shot real. Oh, and also the action is great.
Yeah.
But at one point, he goes to fight somebody, and for no fucking reason, it turns into a Godzilla kaiju fight. So he like is like a giant with like this big Jason Statham mask on, and he's fighting like another guy, and it's so awesome. Like, oh, just everything I love about B movies and how crazy this movie is. C is for crank, and I could be cranking off watching that movie. How much I love it.
He's cranking to crank.
It's
so
awesome.
My father-in-law loves Jason Statham, and when he comes down, like the one time they just came down for a long period of time, he watched The Beekeeper multiple times the whole week that they were here. And we're like, "Are you watching The Beekeeper again?" He's like, "It's a good movie." I'm like, you got a hard on for Jason Statham, but
trust me, it's the same in my house.
I am sold. I need to watch Crank or both now, like ASAP.
Yeah, so. It's just, and they're like Creep and Creep 2 because there's so many like because it starts literally the second that the first movie ends.
I love
that. There's like I'll just there's a scene where he's like falling out of like an airplane. And in Crank 1, he's like calling his girlfriend and he's like on the phone because he thinks he's going to die. And he's like, just wanted to call. And he leaves a voicemail for her. And he's like, I just, I don't know if I'm going to make it through this one, love, blah, blah, blah. It's like a really heartfelt thing. And then in Crank 2, he's like, didn't you get my message? And she's like, what message? And then she plays the message. And because he was falling through the sky, it's just like, like wind is going crazy.
I thought it played out a lot better in my mind when I was saying it.
Yeah, it was. I might watch him tonight just because I love him so much. Anyway, C is for Crank. I could talk all a lot. God, you got to watch Crank, and we can do an episode on Crank.
I was just gonna say I'll watch it so then we can talk about it, and we'll do it specifically for you.
Okay, that'll be my pick, and then you got to make me watch something.
Oh, okay. All right, my wheels are turning. I got to think of something. Oh my god. Okay. Anyway, I'm not going to go off and get my mind on that. But so now D, which I love the D. Nuts. I love the D. D's nuts.
I love that we both went immediately to dirty stuff.
Okay, so for me, the one movie that just represents me as a person is Dick Tracy.
Ooh.
And I just saw a post of like all of the villains' like faces because I love the practical effects.
They're fucked up weird faces.
Yeah, all the gangsters, like that one that has the big fucking head. Just like the epitome of the 90s. I loved Madonna when I was a wee little girl that I shouldn't have loved. I was singing like a virgin in front of my fucking grandmother, had no idea what the fuck a virgin was. Touched for the very first time, and she but Material Girl kept singing. But Dick Tracy is just such a good like mob movie, Disney movie, which is crazy that it's Disney, but it's still kind of like that dark side of Disney. Warren Beatty. I love that movie with every fiber of my being. So I had to shed light on that one.
See, I had never known this about you, which is cool because I've always thought that movie's underrated, that people like almost forgot about it. Like no one ever talks about it. And it is such a weird, just on a visual aspect, like he's like you're watching that and you're like, what? Why did they? Why did they choose to make all of the mobsters look like literal monsters? Like, but it's
Yeah.
cool. Like,
And Al Pacino is such a badass. Like he fucking cemented people in this movie. He did like the cement pour in the boxes. And it's like, again, like, and fun fact, I don't know if anyone has heard me say this, or I don't know if I've said it on here, but I got to go to the premiere of that movie in
really?
Orlando. Yeah. My mom got tickets. I don't know how she did it, but somehow she got tickets for it. And
Christ.
I got to, like, I had a little white dress on and my bows were like yellow, red, and blue, and I had little white gloves. I was so excited. So I got to go to the premiere.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, that is cool. And I'm with you. I'm a Madonna fan for life. So
Me too.
I very much enjoyed her in that movie. And I just remember like it was such a weird period of time because I know that like my brother was like a couple years older. I mean, he was like super into Dick Tracy, like after that movie came out. And it's like so weird to think about, like, there was a bunch of little kids running around being like, I want to be Warren Beatty. What?
I know, like, that's such a weird goal to want to be Warren Beatty. But like, and then like him snagging Madonna for like the momentary affair that they had. But like, I don't know, there's something about them. The chemistry works so well. She was such a great actress. I mean, I loved her in Desperately Seeking Susan. Who's That Girl? Like, I think she's a fantastic actress.
Oh, I think so too. I mean, even some of her bad movies. There's that one, I think, Body of Evidence, where the whole movie is about like she fucks her old husband to death. Like,
yeah, I forgot about Body of Evidence.
yeah,
that was like that weird one of those like weird 90s thriller, like erotic thrillers that we got.
I think it's like after Fatal Attraction came out. Everyone was like, "Oh yeah, we got to make a dirty movie now."
And let's have Madonna in. And isn't she brunette in that one?
Yes, and like the whole thing is because like, Bruce Willis made one like that too, Color of Night. But like, I think like there was like a period of time where they were like, people just want to like watch celebrities fuck, and it's like, well, yeah, I mean, I guess true, but like, Fatal Attraction was also a good movie, so like there was that.
Fatal Attraction is such an underrated thriller. I was about to say slasher, but I mean that's like a fine line to walk with that slasher thriller. And you know what's really weird too, because I'm looking it up right now. Body of Evidence. You know who the guy was, like the lead star?
The Body of Evidence?
Yeah.
Oh God, it's been so long. I don't remember. Was it? Isn't it the fucking dude from like the cop show?
It's fucking William Dafoe. Like, it's so weird that it's him and her, because like I've never thought of William Dafoe as like a good-looking man, and it's not like The Lighthouse, fucking Boondock Saints, like all these.
He looks like a goblin elf. Like, I love him, but he's got very striking features.
He does. So when I like pulled that up and I saw the cover and it's like her with her head back and he's like all viciously like trying to attack her neck, I'm like, that's such weird casting.
Yeah.
For me. But anyway, I digress. But yes, Dick Tracy. I tried to show it to Roz one time and she was into it, but then she went upstairs and started playing like PlayStation because she was starting her video game obsession. So I'm gonna get her one of these days and have her watch it. But D is for Dick Tracy.
All right. And E is going to be for Empire Records.
Ah, fuck yes.
I
love it movie.
I like Empire Records is like, I don't want to like gush over it because if you're listening to the show or watching, you probably know what Empire Records is. It's sort of a seminal movie of the time. Like it's one of those movies that I think like people who grew up in, you know, a certain time frame, there's just a love and affection for this movie that is not even, I don't want to say it's not warranted, but like there's parts of this movie that are really fucking stupid. But like but it goes down like I'm drinking a warm glass of hot chocolate. Like,
oh yeah, but it's so. I love it for what it is, and I love just it's another epitome of like the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's like a time capsule. When you watch it, it just brings you back to like however old you were when you watched it, whatever things you were going through, you just yeah.
It's one of those movies that like it's just like I don't know, like when you're watching it, like I have to talk. Like I'm not gonna be quiet when I watch that movie. Like I'm gonna be sitting there going, Rex Manning Day, like
Just
you know,
to say Rex Manning Day, and that just happened not too long ago.
yep, Rex Manning Day was not too long ago.
I
Um,
love I love
but
Ethan Embry, and I love him.
yeah, and honestly, if you are listening or watching this and you're not familiar with it, um, it's just a super fun movie that takes place in a record store in the 90s. Think fucking like a Kevin Smith movie that has less dick jokes in it. I don't know. It's really sweet and good and fun.
I love that. I love that description. But great pick. All right, just so good.
Oh,
What?
sorry. I
What'd you
realized
do?
when cause I finally watched a movie that I've been trying to watch and I forgot about it. I wanted to bring it up, but fuck it. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
I
All
might
right.
be if I get the letter, I might be replacing one.
Hey, that's quite all right because I'm thinking about mine and I'm like, Okay, but moving on, I have an F for me. Now I'm gonna do a horror
First you got the
movie.
D, now you're getting the F.
Now, because I'm DTF. Uh F is going to be Final Destination, 1000%.
Oh yeah.
Final Destination is every single time I watch the opening scene with the plane, I still get an anxiety. You know what the fuck's gonna happen? It's just so it's so stressful. Everything about the movie is stressful, but it's fun, and I love the cast. The cast is stacked. I loved the premise of it. I thought it was completely different for what we had in horror.
Yeah.
The deaths were pretty gnarly. The bus death is one of my favorite deaths of all time in horror.
Yeah, I agree. I mean,
Yeah.
I love the franchise as a whole. Like the first one is clearly the best, but
Yes.
I very much think it is a unique enough premise that when you're watching and a fun premise too, like, and the first one, I think Devin Sawa is awesome. He's a
Mhm.
horror king. I'm glad he's getting his horror flowers as of late with the Chucky success.
Absolutely.
But he's great in it. What's her face is great in it too. I can't remember her name.
Oh, and she's like a scream Allie Larder.
Ali Larter. Yep.
Because we just watched House on Haunted Hill, and she's such a staple of that time period with those movies. And
Absolutely.
I love and then get Stifler.
Yep. Stifler too. Yep. And and then Ali Larter was in that movie where she fucked Beyonce's husband.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Oh my god, what is that? Is that Revenge? What is that movie?
I don't remember. I just remember watching that, and I distinctly because I was like, I like Ali Larter, so I guess I'll watch this. Like, that was like my whole reasoning for it.
And then you're like, I don't know if I like this at all.
Yeah, no, it wasn't a very memorable movie, but no, I think it's a super fun franchise, and it's one that I'm super happy is coming back.
Yes. Yes.
I feel like it never should have went away. They were the movies they were stupid, but they were incredibly fun.
They're so much fun because the way that it's the premise of it is so simple. Like you can't like death is inevitable. You know what I mean? Like it's gonna happen. But the process of how it does and how you think you can skip it and how you can't, you could have so many movies. And we do have what, 8 in the franchise, 6, 7, 8 in the franchise.
5, and I think the 6th is coming out.
Okay. So I was yes, but you know what I'm saying?
You know what? No, like let's get this. Let's look this up real quick.
Get the facts straight on this one.
Final Destination.
People are yelling right now at us. They're like, "There's fucking 5."
It is. There are 5, and the 6th is the one that is coming out titled Bloodlines. Yes.
Hell yes, I'm here for it. And I'm again, if anyone wanted to continue making Final Destination movies, I'd watch them. So
Absolutely. I always like the Rube Goldberg like nature of them, like, oh, this thing goes to this thing and then that thing drops there and then I like when they always swerve you too in those movies, like you're like, okay, so this, clearly, this fucking tree's gonna fall on someone, and then like 5 minutes later a firework goes off and like blasts through someone's head or something, and you're like, what well, I didn't see that coming. Like,
because you can get good jump scare. Like you wouldn't think you'd get good jump scares or good like reaction, but I love how they do that, how they orchestrate. And you have to have such a creative mind to orchestrate so many deaths that are supposed to go wrong that do go wrong, and have them be actually gnarly.
I think it's got to be like a writer, like to write one of those movies has to be fucking fun. I mean, the rules are pretty open. Like, I mean, you can do whatever you want. Like, if you want to be like, I've always wanted to see, somebody die, with I don't know, like a toilet and a corkscrew. Fucking make it happen. Like, I'll buy it. Like,
yes, they should have like a suggestion box there. Just every day, people be like, "Oh, I suggest that this succulent."
Whoever gets the craziest idea gets to pick lunch today. Like,
yes, because I would be here for it. So F is for Final Destination.
I'm with you. I like that.
Hey.
All right. And G is a movie I've talked about at great length on this show, so I won't go too deep into it, but it is my all-time favorite comedy as far as just a movie that makes me laugh the most. And it is Grandma's Boy. I love Grandma's Boy. Like, I think Clerks is a better movie, but as far as like, if I just want to laugh and I know I'm gonna like, if I know I need to laugh and I had that day, I'll be dead when I don't laugh at this fucking movie.
That will be the day that Sam dies. I love Grandma's Boy. I could quote that all day. I love so stupid the scene where he takes, he puts everything in the stove. Or when he's pulling everything out and he's like, I don't know what the fuck you are, but I'm eating it. And he puts like a banana on the thing. He puts it in the oven.
A banana in the oven.
It's just, you know what? I wanted to watch Crank tonight, but maybe I'll watch Grandma's Boy because that movie, guaranteed from start to finish, you're just going to laugh.
Oh, it's so funny from beginning to end. I just love it. And if you're not familiar with it, because it wasn't a super successful movie.
No, I don't get that.
It's all of the Adam Sandler crew without Adam Sandler. Like, they got to make their own movie, and I think Adam funded it, and I'm glad he did. I wish we would have saw more of that like this, but like you don't even see Alan Colbert anymore. Like, I can't remember the last movie that I saw him in.
It's sad too, because I love them as like a group. You know what I mean? Like I miss the groups of comedy. Like I can't really say James Franco, but like Seth Rogen, Jay.
What's wrong with James Franco? What do you do?
No, yeah, I'm with you on that. Like it's that fine line. And again, whatever. We're not going to get into it.
I know there's like a cancellation thing with him about like a girl, he wanted to be nude in a movie and she didn't want to be nude, although she signed the fucking contract to be nude in the movie. So I don't know, whatever.
Yes, exactly.
That's all I'm going to say. I still think he's a great actor and filmmaker, but whatever.
I do too. And I miss like Franco, Rogen, that group. And then I miss the Adam Sandler crew, even let's say without Adam Sandler, because I think they're great by themselves.
Yeah.
Just like I miss those types of movies. So I would be very happy if we got some sort of comedic throwback with them somehow.
Adam Sandler has like this lifelong Netflix deal. Throw Colbert and Schwartz in a bone. Let him do a new movie. I'd like to see it.
Yes, please. Like, help your friends out. But excellent choice.
He sort of did employ them for like 30 years. So like, I think he did help them out quite a bit.
He's done his job.
Yeah.
I love that movie. Great pick.
So that is G is for Grandma's Boy.
Yes. Oh boy. So I went back and forth with this one. I was like,
there's only one movie it can be.
Should I do it? Should I not do it? And guess what? I'm fucking doing it. I'm going with the classic 1978, my all-time favorite movie. I'm going fucking Halloween. And we don't even need to talk about it. We can skip over it. I've talked about how I'd like to like have a actual counter of how many minutes I've invested in talking about Halloween.
It is sort of the basis of you getting into the podcasting world. So
exactly. So I have to acknowledge it. Forever my favorite movie. John Carpenter, I love you. Michael Myers in his best form. And Dr. Loomis, I will love you forever. Laurie Strode, I like you in this one. Not so much in the other ones. That's it. H is for Halloween.
Okay. I mean, I get it.
Okay.
All right. I is for Identity.
Oh.
Have you seen
Okay.
Identity?
Tell me who's in it.
Oh, a bunch of people. John Cusack, Ray Liotta, Amanda Peet, Clea Duvall.
Oh, I love her. I have not seen that.
So this is one that's sort of hard to talk about without giving too much away.
Okay.
But also if you if you describe it as it is presented in the first 20 minutes, you're like, that sounds generic as fuck.
Yeah.
So are you okay with me telling you what it is sort of revealed to be about 30 minutes in?
Absolutely. Because it's
Without,
not going to.
yeah, without telling the ending.
Yeah. Please.
It starts off as there's a killer in like this like secluded village, and they're basically, all the people are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. They're the only people in this village. Like, they just all wake up here. They don't really know what's going on. And there's a killer, and they're trying to deduce who the killer is. About 40 minutes in, 30, I don't know, somewhere in there. It is revealed that these are all that there is a man in a mental hospital who has multiple personalities, and these are all of his personalities, and basically he's going through some sort of experience where one is going to prevail to be his identity, his full identity from there on out, and it will be the one that's left standing. And one of them is kind of like a super fucked up murderer. So like, very good movie.
Wow. Okay. Now that is how to pitch a movie, because I'm sold.
Yeah.
And I need to watch that.
Yeah, it's good. It's a very fun one, and I love Ray Liotta, and I think John Cusack is underrated. And I had a huge little boy crush on Amanda Peet. So
she's so pretty, like great taste, because she's beautiful. And also too, like actors, like when you said that, it's like, it's going to be a good movie.
Yeah, it's kind of one that like has sort of been forgotten by time, but I genuinely think it is a good movie and unique enough. And I think that I don't know. I think you would enjoy it, and I do think that more people should know about it.
I feel like this is a movie too that the premise, just by you saying that, like, why can't we come up with ideas like this now? Like has an original thought, like the idea of it just got lost in translation? Like, can't we have something?
I don't necessarily think it's that. I think it's just that Hollywood is no longer acceptable with like having, mildly successful movies. Now they want a fucking $500 million hit franchise that they can produce. Or, they don't want to, make a couple $10 million movies that will make 30 or 40 million. They don't want to do that anymore. Now everything goes into one or two projects, and that's what we're focusing on. Like,
yeah, it's like, I don't know. I just had to vent that, because just by the premise alone, it makes me mad. Like, why can't we get cool movies like that? But
yeah, I think I would love to see some, like, the closest movie I could see to that oh my God. Jordana, have you seen The Snowman?
Mm-mm.
With my boy who I shit on last episode, Michael fucking Fassbender?
No, I have not.
God, it was one of the worst movies I've ever seen. And apparently that, like, during filming of it, it was like a big movie. Like Martin Scorsese was going to direct it. And then apparently it was like, he smelt the shit that was coming and was like, I'm out. They just
Lucky for him.
They just apparently were like, we're not filming 30 pages of the script. Like, they're just like, we're not doing it. Like, you pick what 30 pages you want to take out, but we're not filming those 30 pages. So the movie makes zero fucking sense, because there are 30 fucking pages of the script removed. Anyway, it's crazy.
Wait a second. I think I've seen The Snowman.
Yeah. With the stupid killer, and his name is Harry Hole. Harry Hole is his name.
Yeah, with you.
The worst fucking
Harry Hole
in movie history. And Michael Fassbender was like, I need to be Harry Hole.
I would have turned that down for that alone. If they would have told me my name was going to be Fat Cunt or I don't know, something, I would be like, I'm out. The Snowman. I'm pretty sure I've seen this.
It is so horrendously bad that I feel like if you had seen it, you would remember it because it is shocking how bad it is.
I have seen it, and oh my god, it has a 7% on Rotten Tomatoes.
I think that might be generous.
Oh my god, I do remember this. And I don't really remember. I see like this, like the guy's face, and I see like him in the snow, but
It's terrible.
it's horrible because I don't remember anything of it.
Anyway, Eyes for Identity.
Love it. Okay, so now see, and I was like, I got these letters that I'm like, okay, well, I mean, we all know what our favorite movie is. I mean, this is what brought us together,
Da-da.
right?
Yep.
Durner. So I'm with that being said, though, I'm going with Jaws 3. With
that being said, I'm going with Jaws 3.
I mean, I could pick any movie from the Jaws, should I say franchise, but you know, Jaws defines me. I have friends online that, you know, send me shark stuff specifically because I love Jaws and all
I
things.
send you shark stuff and you send me shark stuff.
I know.
We have shark dog today.
I know. So I have to say Jaws 3D because Jaws is so much. Jaws is just, we've talked about that so much as well. And we know that it's just a masterpiece. It's perfection.
I think Jaws has to be picked for us because it's also pretty much the genesis of not our friendship. We just started talking about everything, but our podcast is pretty much a genesis of our love of Jaws because I was a guest on your show, Pretty Killer Podcast, where we covered Jaws, you and I did, and we had so much fun talking about it that we were like, you want to like do like a pod together? And I've had fun ever since.
It was so easy with us. And like you were the first person on my show.
Aw.
You know, like and we talked, how long was that episode? It was like 3 hours. And I was just like, you know what? It was so easy. And I'm like, if this is how podcasting is, then this is gold and we need to have our own show. But I will forever love Jaws for what it is and what it was to me before. I love it for, you know, the actual movie, and I love it for us because it's literally like the glue that binds us together. So Jaws, of course, but I had to throw in 3D because 3D is so much fun and everyone was coked out, and who can't get down with the 80s shark creature feature with coked out actors? Like, I love it.
It is my favorite of the sequels. And Jaws is my all-time favorite movie, so I cannot complain. And I think it would be a crime had you not picked at least a Jaws movie.
Exactly. So there's no way I was skipping over it, but it had to be done. So J is for Jaws 3.
D.
3.
For Dick. Anyway, I'm such a child.
I love
That's why I like American Pie.
Insert the fart noises.
All right. I'm gonna say K. I had to get some goofy horror in here, and this franchise is coming back to life, and I'm here for it. It's Killer Clowns from Outer Space.
Yes, love it.
I love Killer Clowns from Outer Space. Who doesn't? Such a fun movie. One of my favorite kills, I think, in all of horror is the shadow puppet T-Rex that eats the guy.
Love it.
I love it. And I don't know. It's such a fun movie. Here's the thing. I was deathly afraid of clowns as a child because of it. It fucked me up. Like I told the story that my brother used to just like tell me, we'd be at other people's houses, and if I was annoying him, he'd be like, I'm going to put it on. And he'd like pretend to put a tape in the VCR. And even though I was like, I know he didn't have the goddamn movie, I was like, I better get the fuck out of here just in case he does.
I could see like panic in your eyes being like,
yeah, which now I love, and I love it now, which is crazy, but
it's scary for people who don't like clowns because I remember being younger and I don't particularly like clowns either. Other than my main man Art. But I feel that pain because I didn't want anything to do with it for a while, and then after I watched it, I was like, okay, I
Yeah,
get down with this.
and I'll say as a kid, I hated clowns, but my dad, I remember him being like, you know, you just watch it. Like you just like let's just sit and watch this killer clown movie. It's so like it's so not scary. It's so fun and just it's like I don't even know how to explain it. It's almost like I would say like a children's horror movie. Like it's a horror movie that I think is acceptable for kids. Like I think there's nothing bad in it. Like obviously people die, but like in the most I mean they're turned into cotton candy people.
I was just gonna say, like getting turned into cotton candy and like all the deaths, quote unquote, that happen in the movie, they're so like ridiculous, but I love how it has something to do with like the clown aesthetic, you know, like you said, like the shadow puppets and then the cotton candy and just the ridiculous nature of it. But it's so perfect and the clowns are great. And
it's just a great 80s movie too. It's like had like this
yes,
I love the 80s. I love the feel of it. It's so good. And I'm
yes.
glad it's coming back. I think it's gonna be a mini series for HBO or some shit. And it's getting a video game that comes out in like 3 weeks. I think this franchise it's coming back, and it should
Yeah.
have never went away.
And you know what? I hate admitting this, but I will admit this. I didn't realize that it was coming back.
According to Dead Meat James, who I believe is Dead Meat, right?
Yes.
It's 4 months ago. He says that yes, it is in at least some form of I don't know about production, but it is in some form of talks.
Well, I'm happy that if they're going to revive anything and do it into a show, I'm not super upset about Killer Clowns.
No, I think that would fit in that regard. Not like some other show that I heard got canceled and everybody else was crying and I was like, woohoo! Yeah.
It got canceled and everyone's like, oh no, it didn't get canceled. It's just on a pause. It's like, if it's already
Let's
like
flush that turd.
yeah, so if it's already having complications, let's say, with whatever or doubts, just let's scrap it now. Don't even show it to the public because
I feel bad. Like I was legitimately happy when I saw that it was like canceled, and then like it came back, and it's like, well, it may or may not be canceled. And I understand that some people are super excited for Friday the 13th to show. I don't give a fuck, and I don't want to see it. And
nope.
I know some people are like, well, it's going to be the first Friday the 13th property that we get in so long. Yeah, but okay. I want it to be fucking good. Like I don't want a shitty one. Like.
And that's what I can't wrap my head around is that people so desperately want something that they're like, okay, this potentially could be crap, but it's okay. I want it. Wouldn't you want something that's going to literally knock your socks off and be something worthwhile, not just.
I'd rather wait. Granted, obviously with the rights of that franchise and the two fucking people who created it or want to kill each other. But like, if I had to, if I had to wait a year to get something better, I would be more than happy to wait a year to get like something that everyone's going to be excited for. But whatever.
Absolutely, because how long have we? It was 2009 since we got the remake. Oh. So what is that? It's 24 now. It's 15 years.
Yeah.
So like you can't wait another one. Like let's put it in perspective.
Anyway, K is for Killer Clowns.
Yes, great pick, and I'm glad to see some horror on the list. I know I'm like, and this next one is going to be so out of left field. L for left, or L for yes, left. But
I mean, that's true. L is for left.
Stop! My Ring camera notification came on, and like when you're like focused on a thought, and then you get distracted, then you lose it, and you just say something.
Oh yeah.
That's me. So yes, L is for left. But L for me, I'm picking 2009's Land of the Lost with Will Ferrell, Danny McBride. Everyone hates the movie. Everyone thinks it's ridiculous. I love it. I love that they go in this like time capsule and then they're with the Neanderthals. And I don't know. you know how much I love Danny McBride.
This is why you and I are friends, because I also love that movie, and I know that everyone else fucking hates it. And I watched that movie. Oh my God, I cannot tell you how many times I watched that movie back in the on-demand days.
Oh yeah.
I mean, that was like a go-to for me. Like if I just wanted to laugh and have dumb fun, I probably watched that movie like 35, 50 fucking times over the course of like 5 years.
Same. And like I would get in a lull and I would just be like, what am I gonna watch? And I would put that on just because there's so many ridiculous scenes, iconic scenes to me. Will Ferrell and Danny McBride together is comedic gold. I don't care what anyone says. Whatever the quality of the movie is for them, it's still hilarious. So L is for Land of the Lost.
I'm with you. I love that movie. All right. M, we're going to get a little weird. I'm going to see how weird you are if you're like me and you know this movie.
Mm-hmm.
M is for Meet the Feebles.
Okay. I've never seen it.
So,
But
do you know of it?
Nope. I was going to say, I'm sure after you explain it, I'll be like, okay, I have to watch it.
So it's a Peter Jackson movie. I love Peter Jackson. Whether it's his big giant stuff or like King Kong and Lord of the Rings, or if it's, what's the goddamn zombie movie that I can't think about right now? Dead Alive. But he has his early films, even pre-Dead Alive.
Wow.
Are fucking weird. They're some of the weirdest movies, and you know me, I am a seeker of the bizarre and often bad. This is it's a Muppet Show, except it's all the Muppets are real. So think of it, it's a Muppet Show, and they're putting on a Muppets like performance, except all of the characters are junkies or prostitutes, and they fuck each other and they do drugs and they murder each other. And I'd like to say, they made that really, I personally thought it was just a shit movie, but that movie with the Muppets and Melissa McCarthy, and it was just awful.
Yes. Or wasn't there another one with, what's his name? Jason Segel.
Well, he made
Is that the same one?
Well, he made the Muppet. So he made a Muppet movie, and like an actual Muppet movie, because he like me loves the Muppets.
But there was the spoof with Melissa McCarthy.
That was terrible. This is the good version of that movie. This is where you have insanity, and the fact that when you watch it and you're like, and this is Academy Award nominee Peter Jackson who made this. Like, somebody saw this movie and was like, "You want to do Lord of the Rings?" Like, it's fucking nuts, and I love it. So M is for Meet the Feebles.
Let me look at your film catalog. Okay, yes, you get Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done a zombie movie that has more blood in it than anything else. I did a movie where puppets fuck each other. And I did a movie where aliens, I can't even begin to describe bad taste. I don't even understand it, but it's good.
I know. Bad taste. I haven't heard that in such I feel like it never gets talked about. But yes, I'm just from the cover, because isn't it the big alien dude flipping up? Yes.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I love Peter Jackson. So M is for Meet the Feebles.
Great choice. We'll have to watch it because it sounds right up my alley. But text that to me because I'll forget, because there's a lot of movies that I like, Identity and the Snowman, that I have to watch.
Don't watch Snowman. Do not watch Snowman. I don't want to have watched it. I want my time back.
Never again. Okay.
Harry Hole.
Is it like HARRY and then like HOLE?
I think it's HARRY. I don't want to Google Harry Hole, so I'm just going to say
HOWL or something.
I don't need Harry Hole in my search history.
I love it. Okay, I'll search it later and I'll take the risk. But so this one, it might be cheating, but I'm going. I don't care. We make the rules here. We came up with this, so I'm going with this. N is for Night at the Roxbury.
Yeah. Oh no, I think and the are acceptable in this. So
okay, good. going back to my love for Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Molly Shannon, like again, when SNL was good and they can actually have movies come out of their skits, a Night at the Roxbury, uh, is a staple. I love that movie. It never gets old. I'll turn it on if I don't really know what to watch. I love it.
It's a classic. I there's so many quotable lines in there. I think my favorite little bit is, which I still quote pretty regularly, is "Did you just grab my ass, sir? From where I'm standing, that would be a physical impossibility."
I know how you are.
Yeah,
It's like
it's okay if you did.
I love it so much, and I love like I had a weird. I'll say this, I'll admit it, a weird like attraction to Chris Kattan for like the tiny little time that it was out, and then I was like, oh my god, he's like this little guy, like I don't know, and then it subsided. But Doug Butabi, Steve Butabi, like iconic, and I miss old SNL and I miss the old comedians, so I had to shine light on that one. So N is for Night at the Roxbury.
Isn't it kind of weird that like SNL, like for a period of time, like the skits were so popular that they would become movies, and while I also I could have picked it for M. I think MacGruber is unbelievably funny.
Oh my god, MacGruber.
When Ryan Phillippe has that celery in his asshole, I laugh so hard. But that's like what, like 2010-ish? Like there hasn't, like, when was the last time that SNL, like I still watch SNL like clips, but like I can't remember the last time I watched a full episode. And like, when was the last time that a skit was so iconic that they're like, we got to make a fucking movie? And I think it was MacGruber.
I feel, and I agree with you, but I feel like what we've gotten is just like music, like Dick in a Box, I'm on a Boat. You know what I mean? Like those that came from SNL, didn't it?
Yeah, those are SNL digital shorts.
Yes. So like those are cool, but nothing has sparked like a new movie, and I think that just kind of speaks volumes though of the quality. And I'm not saying it's like horrible now, but I felt like it was top tier when it was Will Ferrell and oh my god, Amy Poehler. All those.
I mean, I think for me, the 90s and the early 2000s were the best for me, because that's like in the 90s you have Sandler and Schneider and all them, and then I loved Ferrell and Poehler and all them. But like what's her name, who I always think it's massively underlooked, Sherry O'Terry, so fucking funny.
I love her so much.
Yeah. But like I also like, I don't feel like like all the skits that are successful now are like, I mean, the talk show, the news report, whatever the fuck it's called.
Oh yes.
That's always popular, but that's not like, you can't make that into a movie. Obviously like the presidential spoofs, those are always popular, but you can't really make that into a movie. Like I just can't, like, I don't feel like there's characters that, like, the biggest character that I can think like that transcended fucking like culture was David S. Pumpkins, so which is amazing, but like Tom Hanks isn't going to make a David S. fucking Pumpkins movie. So
okay, can I just say that I had no idea who the fuck David S. Pumpkins was, and then at Halloween Horror Nights they had David, and I'm like, who is this guy? Like, who cares? I had no idea. And I'm watching the way he does like his hand stuff, and people were taping him. I'm like, is he known, or is this just like some random? I had no idea.
Have you seen the skit yet?
No.
So that's so funny, is because you're the person in the skit who's the normal person. There's you gotta watch it. It's so good. But like, there's a person who, like, they're in a haunted house, and like it's supposed to be like an elevator, and like every floor is a different thing, and like, there's like a witch and a werewolf or whatever, and then like they cut to like there's this, it's just a guy in a pumpkin suit, and he goes, I'm David S. Pumpkins, and they do this goofy fucking dance, and then the whole time they're like, are we supposed to know who this is? Like, you're that person. They're like, wait, no, but like, yeah, we see the werewolf, but like, who the fuck was that guy? Like,
well, I guess then it's successful, because I still like, I watch people's videos when they posted all last year, and I'm like, I don't get it.
You're like, who is this guy?
And then I did see Tom Hanks, but I was like thinking to myself, are they trying to make him relevant and have Tom Hanks play him? Okay, well, I'll have to watch it now.
That's great.
David S. Pumpkins.
So that would be me for O.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna go old school and pick old school.
Yeah. I
Speaking
love
of
that
Will
movie.
Ferrell,
Yes. Are we on a Will Ferrell kick right now? I feel like.
I guess why not? We picked him. We picked him in the movie that everybody hated that we loved. So
Yeah, keep it going.
old school is so funny. It's just it's in that period of time when Will was he was starting to rise. I don't think he had even made Elf yet. I don't think. And
Mm-mm.
like I don't know. This just again what's depressing about it is that I'm getting to the age where I am these guys. But like
It's so weird to live our lives as teens, preteen, like 20s, and then like your full blown adulthood and going through all the motions with it.
yes. Because I remember watching this and being like, haha, that's so funny, you know, like these fucking dudes in their 40s partying and fucking whatnot. And now I'm like,
Losers.
I'm not there yet, but I'm closer to that than I am the other direction. And I'm like, well, I still party and
I'm still cool.
I
Then
still
you're
like,
oh no.
I still like I'm popular with the kids stuff. I don't know anything about kids like the culture. When I talk to young people, I feel so fucking old. I'm like, uh-huh. But old school is so funny. Again, if you're new or young or whatever, if you're one of the youngins we just described, it's a group of guys in their 40s who decide to buy a house and start a fraternity at a college and just basically party with a bunch of 20-year-olds. And it's unbelievably fucking funny and dirty and it's just great.
See, and that's the way that you just described this movie is exactly what I miss about ideas. Like such a ridiculous idea, but it's not too far from the truth. And I hate shifting from like funny to like serious or like morbid, but a great example is the Netflix documentary that was just on about Ivy Ridge. The oh my god, what was it called? And like Greg's from the place that it happened. What the hell? The Program. Did you remember hearing about that?
You told me about this.
But it's funny because I mean it's not funny, but they literally started a school for quote unquote bad kids and like abused them so badly. And then you have like a movie though that's funny, and it's like these random dudes just buy a house and then they start a fraternity. Like, you know what I mean? Like how could you pull that off? How could that actually happen? And
How
then
could it work?
yeah, and then you have something like this happen and you're like, but wait, how the fuck did someone start a school?
Yeah, how did this happen?
Like how did this happen? It's just such a weird parallel, but I miss like the funny aspect of it.
I mean, I do. I just oh shit. Oh, I thought I lost you for a second. Sorry. I'm trying to get something ready for my next pick here. But yeah, I mean, I miss the I don't know. I feel like I'll just say this, like there's people who are younger that's this is a quotable movie, and like because movies used to be fucking funny. I can't remember the last like big movie, maybe Bridesmaids, that like people still like are like quoting to this day. Like I mean, and I think it comes down to the fact that these movies are funny and aren't afraid of being a little edgy. And the movies that are made nowadays are like sugar coated and wussified, and nobody likes them. like everybody wants. I think the majority of people agree these movies were funny. So why are companies so afraid to make them? And they're like, no, we don't want to offend anybody. We'll make pussy comedies that nobody gives a shit about. Like
exactly, and like completely ruins comedy. It's like no, there's still people that want that. So please put it out.
Yeah. So anyway, always for old school for me. I love a good old dirty comedy.
Same. And it just talking about these movies just makes me want to watch them all.
So that was O.
Okay, so for P for me is I'm going with a movie that scared the shit
Don't
out of
look at
me.
that.
Whoa,
Don't look
that
at that.
scared me too. That scared me too.
Don't look at that. That wasn't supposed to pop up yet.
I didn't see anything. A movie that really scared me, and when I was younger, and I got to watch it with Roz, and it's just such a classic, and it's part of this movie series that's going back into theaters, and you get to pick like 4 for 15 to watch, and it's Poltergeist.
Boom.
Yes, and I feel like you can't mention a P movie with me, the horror lover, and not mention Poltergeist.
You got
So
all the dirty letters.
I did. I know. And I was like thinking about it. I'm like, should I switch with Sam? And then I'm like, nah, because we're delivering bangers on each letter, but
I know, but you got D, F, and P. I mean, are you going to get V? We'll figure out when we get there.
I probably will get V. I'll probably get D and the V.
Actually, I got to tell you, you are getting V. I just realized that.
Did I realize that? What did I pick? I don't even remember what I picked, but Poltergeist is just timeless. It's so good. Even, it ages so well. It's a great entry level for horror fans, I feel like, and it's a classic staple for the hardcore horror fans. So P is for Poltergeist for me.
All right, I'm with you on it. I think Poltergeist it's my favorite ghost movie. Period.
Yep.
It's got amazing special effects and just it's fucking just an awesome movie. Really like a precursor to the Conjuring movies. If you are newer to this, I mean, I feel like the Conjuring is just a kind of more darker version of it, but like I like them both. But like super, super awesome movie. Actually, honestly, the Poltergeist franchise as a whole ain't that fucking bad. Like the sequels are not bad. Like,
you know what? It's funny that you brought that up because 2 is so good, and 3 isn't 3 the one in the apartment building?
Yep.
They're great sequels, and I feel like no one talks about them.
No, everybody sort of forgets about them after that, but 2 in particular is really fucking good, especially if like as a 1-2 punch. It's kind of a good way to. It's not a bad movie night.
No, not at all. Yeah, people don't ever talk about the sequels, and the old man is so goddamn creepy.
Oh yeah, with the fucking hat and the big teeth.
Yeah, he's like coming to the door. It's like I would not open that fucking door if he showed up.
Yeah, no, Ring cameras would have made that movie real short. Go the fuck away.
Yes.
All right, so I think this is our first like challenging letter, is the way I'll say it. I did not have a Q movie that I could pick from my list in my personal vault.
Yes.
So I had to go, and I honestly, it is a fun movie. It's not, but I think it represents me and my love of B movies because it's a Roger Corman classic.
Okay.
It is Q the Winged Serpent.
Oh, look at that. That is the cover.
Yeah, it is. I mean, it's exactly what you see right there. It is the movie about a giant dragon dinosaur. I don't really know what it is.
It's crazy.
It attacks a city. It's New York, I think. Probably filmed in like fucking Cleveland. And it is goofy and weird and just on a level that is something about me that I love. Is just I love B movies, and that might be closer to a C or a D movie, but it is fucking fun, and I love Roger Corman, so I feel like I would be remiss to not get him on this list in some form. Plus, I don't really have much else for Q.
I was going to say, what else is like a Q movie that could work?
I mean, I almost wanted to Google it and be like Q horror movies. Horror movies, because that's horror movies that start with Q,
or even just in general, what movies start with Q?
Oh, here we go. How about this? Good movies that start with Q.
It'd be like
movies that
no results found
with Q.
What you got?
Well, they put Quarantine on here.
Oh, I forgot all about. But I mean,
that movie sucks though.
I was gonna say, is that good?
Oh, you know what? This one could have been a good pick. Queen of the Damned. I do like Queen of the Damned.
Ooh, yes, I forgot about that one.
Quiet Place. That would have been acceptable.
Yeah.
And quiz show. All right. So there were a few options, but I'm liking my Corman pick.
I'm loving your pick, and I'm glad that we got one that's not like a well-known or one that you would rarely pick, because I mean, I want to watch it.
I'm glad.
Yeah.
All right. You got R.
I got R, and my pick for R, matey, is going to be Rec. It's weird that you said quarantine because it leads right into Rec, but Rec is, oh my, you want to talk about an example of in my opinion, a great movie. Found footage, 52 minutes, or actually, I think it's shorter than 52 minutes. Scary, effective, even with subtitles. I cannot recommend Rec enough to people when they want like a good found footage or like a good quick something to watch. It's always Rec. Just something about the panic, something about the twist, because we know that there's a twist in there. If you want to call it a twist, I think it's great.
I think it was a movie that revolutionized found footage. Not, I mean, it wasn't like the first, obviously, but like
Right.
it took it in a much different direction, more action-y oriented, and it just was such a great movie. And I've spoken about it before. I think it's just how that movie became successful. Like, I felt like it was entirely word of mouth. It was a movie
Yes.
you met someone at a party, you know, who was you're talking about movies, and then someone would go, "Oh, have you fucking seen Rec yet?" And you're like, "What the fuck is that?" That's how that movie, like everybody I know who saw that movie when it came out, that's how they found out about it, like just word of mouth.
And it's perfect because like that's how it used to be back in the day. We didn't have social media platforms to talk about good movies. We didn't have social media to watch trailers and have all of this content. So it's nice to know that like you could just recommend something and it'll fuel a fire to this found footage film that I feel like everyone talks about now. So
Absolutely. I mean, I think it's still done in just different ways. Now it's, you know, and granted we're part of it, and that's, but like now it's like, well, Instagram will start lighting up with posts about stuff, but like it had to be before. Like it's a little easier to get the word out now, as opposed to it had to just naturally fucking happen for movies like this.
absolutely, and I'm glad that it took off, because it does, like, it deserves its roses. It's so good. And then of course we have to, you know, butcher it by doing a remake, reboot, American style. Just leave it like
What are you
foreign one.
talking about? According to Google, it's the best movie ever made with a Q.
Google, we're gonna fight at some point in time, but R is for Rec.
R is for Rec. All right, so it wouldn't be at least my portion of the podcast wouldn't be complete unless I got my boy Nick Cage in there, and I'm going The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
I feel like I know a lot of Nick Cage movies, but I don't feel like I know this one.
Jordana.
I know.
It's got your boy. It's Pedro Pascal and Nick Cage together.
Is that the one where he's like
playing himself?
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's Nick Cage playing Nick Cage.
Have I seen this?
It's like a buddy movie. It's heartwarming and funny, and really well directed, actually. And I think this isn't like a Nick Cage movie where I'm like, hey, you got to go check out Nick being crazy, and like, I mean, he's crazy, like it's Nick, but like this is like a real movie. Like, this is a real movie with heart and soul in it. And it's just a fun one because you kind of get to see Nick, you know, be a character that actually has like heart to them. Usually they just like fill them up with cocaine and say, go have fun. Like, you know,
here you go. Wind them up.
It's such a good one.
That prompted that meme of them in the car.
Yes, that's probably the most famous scene in the movie is Pedro giving the crazy fucking face. Yeah.
I love
and
that
then
part.
Nick being like,
what? But those two, just that, I like watching their dynamic in that short little clip, that meme or whatever that was blown up for a period of time. Okay, so I need to add that one to my. I have a long list that I need to watch.
But I had to get my boy Nick in there, and Nick playing Nick. How could I get any better? I'm realizing that I had C and I didn't pick Con Air. What the fuck is wrong with me? Anyway,
Oh, I know. I was waiting for those moments where we like realize that we missed
Ah,
the movie. We're
I
like, oh shit.
I literally have an enormous framed picture of him with his glorious mullet in my living room in that movie, and I didn't pick Con Air. Ah,
This
anyway,
episode is scrapped and we're not airing it.
what the hell did I? Oh, I picked Crank. Well, I love Crank, so that's fair. All right.
I was gonna say you were super excited about Crank, so I feel like it's equal.
I'm super excited about Crank because telling people about Crank who haven't seen Crank is so fun. So anyway, that's why I loved it. But anyway, you is for Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Okay, so oddly enough, I got T, and I don't know what anyone would think that I would pick other than motherfucking. I was gonna say something, but no T movie came to mind. I'm Terrifier 2. Come on now, like uh, again, these are movies that are very. Are you pulling up T movies?
I was looking at the T movies as well. Yes.
I know I was about to turn it on or to type it in and see, but you know what? I'm going with Terrifier 2. I am so excited for 3. We're getting an earlier release date. We're getting the 11th instead of the 25th. Don't know the reasoning behind that. I want to just say it's just because they're anticipating that it's going to be so goddamn good. I don't know why they would have changed it so close to Halloween, but
I've got a question for you.
yes.
I know why they're doing it because it's Halloween.
hmm
I sort of want them to hold it off. I would have liked them to hold it off and made it a Christmas movie.
That's okay. So
It's a Christmas movie. Why not release it in December?
That's what I literally thought we were getting it around Christmas time, and nothing would have brought me more joy than getting Terrifier 3 in December, because what a way to end the fucking year than Art literally killing Santa. I don't know what's gonna happen, but killing Santa elves, crushing kids' dreams and probably their spines. Like, come on now.
It just, to me, like, if it's gonna be a Christmas themed movie, I don't know. Like, I here's the thing. I'm gonna watch it and I'm probably gonna love it, but like, I don't know. Like, like I watch fucking there's certain Christmas horror movies that I watch every year at Christmas. I don't watch fucking Silent Night Deadly Night in October. I watch that.
Right.
That's a December movie. So like I
Yes.
kind of really I know why they're doing it, but I feel like it would be more fun if it was released like, I mean, December 1st. Just like, let's kick fucking December off with a bang.
Exactly. We got Thanksgiving at Thanksgiving, so I'm good now with like that in between, because from Halloween to Christmas we have Thanksgiving now, and we're gonna get another one. So yay for that. But here's my thing. I don't want to try to look too much into it, because I've already, had people send me stuff about the little girl in the bedroom with like the dresses, saying, do you think that's a flashback of Sienna? And we'll get like an explanation. I'm hoping that by him doing this, it's saying like maybe it's not completely centered around Christmas, and maybe it's just like focused on the storyline and stuff happened around Christmas. And I
Or
know that
maybe
sounds
there's one scene that takes place at Christmas or something.
like something that like happen and it's like a huge focal point. I don't know. I feel like it is going to be a Christmas movie, because like the poster is him and Christmas decor and
everything we've seen is him in a fucking Santa suit.
exactly. So, but again, I'm maybe thinking that he's just kind of showing it as like a game changer, so people are a little bit more intrigued, and we won't get as much Christmas as we're anticipating, and it's going to be like a normal setting. I don't know though.
I want it to be as Christmas as fucking possible.
I do
I want him
too.
to stuff a fucking candy cane in someone's asshole. Like,
God, I do too. And then no, I want him to stick the curvy part in the asshole and then have like the normal part be like how like he ate it before and it's like a shank. So then it
yes.
can just like he could like kebab someone with their ass.
See, that's perfect. Like I'm this is amazing. This is the beauty of Terrifier.
You can literally take the most grotesque, gruesome thoughts of what Art could do, and it's you're not far off, I bet, from what we're gonna see.
I hope this isn't offensive to say, but I want Art to kill a little person dressed as an elf.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say I hope Art kills a kid, and I was like, well, I mean, you know where I stand with fuck them kids, but yes,
I'm okay with that. But Art having like a little chase scene
with an elf.
versus a little person elf would
Yeah,
be pretty awesome.
I don't like. I hope he fucking destroys Santa. Like, I just
Oh,
cannot
he has
wait.
to kill a guy dressed as Santa. He has. There's no way it's not happening.
It's gonna happen.
What if he
And
kills actual Santa? Like, because these movies have magic in them, magic swords and shit. What if Santa comes down his fucking chimney and he kills actual Santa?
he's done. I will, I'm going to be standing in the theater clapping. Like, I cannot wait. But again, as much as I wanted to pick Terrifier 3 for my T, Terrifier 2, it's just, again, my horror love heart was low on fuel, and that it's still fuel in it. So Terrifier 2 all the way for T.
Terrifier 2. I like it. All right. So I have V. And the one I picked is one that
My
admittedly
friend,
think-
you have you.
Oh, I'm sorry. See, I can't even do. No, I don't. I had.
Wait,
Oh,
wait.
We did the alphabet backwards.
Did we? Wait, you picked Q.
We skipped S.
Shit.
We skipped. I knew it was gonna happen. I knew we were gonna fuck up the alphabet.
Q, and then wait. I was R. Rec. S is
S.
you.
S. Okay. S
yes.
for me.
I'm
S
sorry.
for me. Real quick. Boom.
I got really excited.
S for me. It's the only apparent easy one I'm picking because I think the movie is literally in my DNA for how important this movie is to me. It's Starship Troopers.
Yes.
It's a top 5 favorite movie for me. I think it might be my second favorite movie behind Jaws. It is, I can quote it from beginning to fucking end. It makes me feel so good in my soul when I watch it, and it drives my fiance nuts when I do because I do quote every fucking line in the movie. And I quote it constantly. I constantly quote this movie and on a day-to-day basis. And it's just so fun and I love it.
I absolutely love that for you.
So we don't have to get too into it. I've talked about it before. Starship Troopers. I love it. It's my favorite book. It's my second favorite movie, and I love it. So go watch Starship Troopers if you haven't seen it.
Yes. Do it.
All right. Now we did U. Now we're on V. Okay.
Yes.
So
and that's
me,
right?
No.
Oh, yes, that's you.
V is me.
V is you.
No, it's not. V is you. Because V for vagina.
I did get V for vagina. Yes.
Yes. So V is you. I'm sorry.
V for me was like, I kind of had to like rack my brain because even like
you look like total fucking idiots right now.
I know they're like, these idiots don't know the fucking alphabet, and I have the chart in front of me.
Okay. I knew it was gonna happen. I'm like, we're gonna fuck up the alphabet somehow. Somehow it's gonna happen, and there it is.
I'm glad that we're like towards the end though, because I feel like we fucked up the beginning. Like the beginning's easy, like you kind of trail off at the end.
I think this is what I can tell you how it happened. By the way, I just want to be clear. So I have most of my picks here in a stack. Mm-hmm. I currently do not have my copy of Starship Troopers, so I just went to the next one I had in the stack, which was you. So that's what happened there.
I was like, because you said that you didn't have one, and I was wondering which one it was going to be.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, now we know what it is, and we're not going to fuck up anymore. So V for me was difficult, but staying true to who I am and like horror, I had to go with VHS, just because I really liked the first installment. And what's the one that I just watched that has the new one that just came out with like the boat scene and then the zombies at the park? I think that was like the newest one that came out, like 90s, I think it was.
I have actually only seen 2 of them.
Oh.
I have seen the VHS like 1994, I think it's called, or something like that.
Yes.
And I have seen the original, and I don't really remember much about them. That's not a lot of them stick to me.
The first one's like the opening of VHS was weird, but then the one with like the girl that's that creature, and she kept just, I like you. And the guy's like, okay. And then it's like the whole hotel room scene, and the girl's passed out and she's like in the bed, and they try to like, do stuff with her, and then she goes crazy and kills everyone. I fucking love that. I thought it was creepy how they had like the stairwell chase where he's like, you could hear like him running, and he wipes out, and then you hear the door open, and then she comes down the stairs. It's just so creepy. So I definitely have to go with that one. I feel like that one's
And I think it's our first anthology movie on our ABCs. So I think it's good to have an anthology movie. I love anthologies. I'm a big fan of anthology movies because you always you get little pieces.
yeah, and it's storytelling at its finest, because we get either like five stories that have nothing to do with each other, or we have these stories that intertwine and then they make sense. Anthologies are so amazing, and it's one of my favorite subgenres. So
I'm a my love for Trick or Treat, and
I do.
I'm with you, and I would like to watch more of the VHS series, because the one that I watched, that I remember watching the most was the '90s one, which I remember like had focused around like a band that was like that was like the centerpiece was like a band that was like there was zombies or something chasing that, but it was fun. Like it was dumb
Yeah.
fun, but I enjoyed it.
Yes. I want to catch up and watch the rest of them, because there's quite a few. I think they're up to like,
I think they're doing another one too.
yeah, I think so too. Because it was like 90s, 80s, VHS 2, the other weird one. So I think they're up to like 5 now. So I'm here for it. Keep bringing on the horror anthologies, because I love them.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
Now going in a different direction, I'm going to go with this is my first romantic movie on here, but it's a weird one. I got to be a
Ooh,
weirdo. This is called Wrist Cutters: A Love Story.
okay. Now who the
Um,
hell's in that?
so the if you know them, you know Patrick Fugit, who is most known as the main character in Almost Famous.
Okay. Oh, okay.
And Shannon Sossaman, who was probably most known for being the love interest in A Knight's Tale. Um,
Yes, she's super pretty.
she's like of that time, she was kind
Gorgeous.
of like the it girl for every guy who's like, I want like an alternative girlfriend, and I was one of those guys. But
Guilty.
Wrist Cutters is such a fun, weird. It's totally an indie movie, and it has those indie bittersweet vibes. But the premise is kind of weird, and I want to describe it to you.
Please.
So, in this movie, everyone in the movie has committed suicide.
Okay.
And when you commit suicide in this movie, you go to basically a uh what do you call it? Not heaven, not hell.
Like the
There's
not
a
the
word.
ether. Is it
There's
the
like a
ether?
word. No,
The in between?
there's something. Yeah, there's a word for it. I can't think of what it is. But it's basically like this boring ass, like just nothing happening, not bad, not good, but everybody there are dead, but their spirits or whatever you want to call them live there, but they basically are they're they still have to work crappy jobs, and
No.
and they're all everybody there is a suicide victim or whatever, and so they're all kind of miserable people.
Mhm.
And basically one day Patrick Fugit like finds another girl and he falls in love with her. It becomes a buddy road movie because they meet this weird hitchhiker guy, and it's just this really weird world that is like, it sounds like, how could this possibly be romantic and funny based on suicide?
Mhm.
But they do it. They walk the line, and it's very good. I think it's based off a comic book, if I'm correct, but like it's really
Oh.
sweet and funny and weird, and I just love it. It's a if you're in the mood for a sort of weird fucking romantic movie, check it out.
It sounds very like satire-y, like right up my alley, because I love movies like But I'm a Cheerleader. You know what I mean? Like those darker comedies that have like great casts, and it makes you feel a certain way after you watch them.
Yeah, and I mean there is inherently like trigger warning if suicide is something that, triggers you, or like, and I don't mean that in a bad way,
No.
then this probably isn't the movie for you, because there
Mhm.
is a lot of satire in it, and like there's a character, the crazy character they meet on the way is like his whole family were victims of suicide, and like he one day just killed himself because he wanted to be with his family. So he's like, he loves it there. He's like, I'm here in this hellhole, but I'm with my family, so I'm like, I'm doing good. Like,
Oh, I love
like,
that. I would probably watch that and probably like end up crying because I probably love it so much.
yeah, it's a cute. It sounds insane to say, but it is a cute, romantic, weird movie. But I
I
like
didn't
it.
even know I didn't even know it existed. So I'm glad that you brought light to it so people can check it out. And I feel like I have to really find where these movies are playing. Like I pray they're on streaming somewhere.
I'm sure it probably is because that movie has a fan base. That's a kind of a indie-rific movie that a lot of it's got a cult following, so I'm sure it's somewhere.
Well, I'll definitely look for it.
Let's see. You got your first difficult letter, I would say here.
This one really irked me because there's one huge movie that stands out and I am not picking it because
I would be mad at you if you caved and picked that movie.
oh my god, I would literally quit everything if I was like, "Oh, I gotta pick this one." I'm not. And I'm going with X-Men.
Yeah.
Yes. Because honestly, Greg started rewatching them not too long ago, and I actually sat down and watched them with him. And I have to say, the first few I really did enjoy, and I got really into them. And I'm excited for the revival of X-Men and Wolverine being in Deadpool coming up. So, and I don't think we had did we have a superhero movie on here yet? Oh yeah.
Nope.
So I had to do my due diligence and add a superhero movie, and I'm going with X-Men.
I'm here for I have you.
I know you do.
I'm a massive nerd for X-Men.
I know you are.
And I do have a lot of massive problems with those films, but there are a few in the franchise that I think are pretty great. And also, while X-Men 1, I think has its issues if you are going to compare it to like comics and the show and whatnot.
Yep.
It is also on its own, it's a pretty good movie. And a lot of people don't really realize this, but Blade and X-Men were the two that like started making all these fucking money. Like they came before Spider-Man. Like
yes.
They were the first two where they realized like, oh, maybe this is the future. Now, granted, I hate what that future fucking became, but like with all of the superhero movies that we have now, but like X-Men was if you are a fan of superhero movies, you need to get on the goddamn ground and give that first movie its props.
Absolutely. But the problem that I think is the issue I think is down this like timeline of movies is just way too many people involved. You know what I mean? Like way too many like I can't speak personally on it because I haven't read comic books, but I know like Greg is like a huge and like yourself huge into like reading the comic books. So he knows like storylines. He's like, I don't get why they can't just stick with the storyline. Like, why do they have to meddle? Why does it have to be this? Why can't they just do it?
I mean, I don't want to get like in my opinion, and a lot of people would probably agree with this in nerd culture.
Mm-hmm.
One of the best story arcs in comic book history is known as the Dark Phoenix saga. And Hollywood has made that movie twice. And twice they have royally fucked it up. And I'm like, everyone loves the comic. Just do what's in the goddamn book.
Like, that's after the first time I'd be like, what did we do wrong? And then I'd be like, oh, let's just revert back to the original and let's just kind of keep it simple, stupid, and do it. And
that's why I very much am like, I don't like when Disney-fies some things, but I feel like maybe someone there is a little smarter and they'll just be like, just give them what they want. Just tell the story as it was fucking told. Like, how about
exactly.
that?
Yeah, just do it.
So I'm okay with that pick, and I definitely am okay with you not picking X. So
it wasn't gonna happen. I'm like, there's no fuck. I would literally just be like a hard pass.
I don't want this. X doesn't exist in our library.
I ain't doing it. So yes, but what do you now? Are you on Y?
I am on Y. Y will be my final letter, and I thought was going to be hard when I was trying to, that's what she said. And it really wasn't. Because there's a Y movie that I talk about quite often that I think I'm a bigger fan than you are of, but I love Your Next.
Oh, that is a good pick though. Yes, it is so good.
That's it's one of my favorite like modern um slasher. I don't really know if you want to call it a slash. Yeah, whatever. Whatever it is, I love it. And she's the girl in that is one of my favorite final girls because I love me a badass fucking woman in a movie, and she
Oh
kicks
yeah.
some fucking ass.
I completely agree with you. I think it falls in the category of slasher slash like home invasion
Yeah.
per se, if you want to go there. But Your Next is so good, and I do love it. It's just I haven't watched it as much, and I think I'm due for a rewatch because it's been talked about a lot and like on with other people, and I've just seen it pop up more. So I definitely want to revisit it.
Yeah, I think I think you would enjoy it again because
Mhm.
I don't know. When it comes to like modern horror movies that I find myself continually going back to, like
Yeah.
multiple times a year, it's pretty much like that and Evil Dead, the 2013 remake or whatever the fuck it was.
Fuck yeah.
Those are like kind of like two oddly like fucked up comfort movies for me.
Same. I love throwing on Evil Dead 2013. Like when I'm in a mood, I'm like, I'm watching Evil Dead tonight.
Yeah. So
Or like when you're around people and it's like, oh, have you seen this? Here's Evil. Here's a lot of blood.
yeah. You want to see someone shove a chainsaw vertically through someone's body? Here you go.
You're fucking right, I do.
So
Okay, so now we are on the final letter of the alphabet, Z. Z. And I thought Z was going to be hard, but when I looked to refresh, just go a refresher, there's so many good movies. Zoolander. Let me just read a couple because I didn't pick them, but Zombieland, Zoolander, Zodiac. I mean, how fucking Zodiac is so goddamn
yes,
good.
it is.
Zach and Miri make a porno. Um, there's a few good Z's, but of course I'm not picking them. And I'm gonna end it on a horror note with one of arguably the best directors, best names in horror, Lucio Fulci's Zombie. And you know how much I love that movie. I will go as far as to say I think that it's better than Dawn of the Dead. And I think that I prefer Fulci zombies over Romero. And I know that's gonna be
You just made a lot of people go, "What?"
what? But you know what? I'm not gonna lie. Everyone knows that I don't hold things in unless it's a fart. But
We don't hold those in either.
no, we
I
don't.
hit the mute button earlier. Don't worry.
Yeah, we're good. But you guys didn't see it, but you might see it on the video. But Zombie is so
There's
good.
a part in the video where I'm just like,
Leaning to the side. What you doing? I know. Bubbly Guts, it's great. But can we just talk about the zombie versus the shark scene in the movie? Like iconic, the score, the scene where the zombie comes out of the earth and it's just on a tropical. I don't know. There's just something about zombie that I'm not like a huge zombie person. Like I like zombie movies, but there's something about this one that just gets me going and I love it so fucking much. And I got a notification from Fright Rags that my zombie shirt shipped today. So I'm highly anticipated getting that. But I love it. So that's what I'm going with.
so I will say that I do enjoy it. I
Mhm.
am much more on the George Romero side, and I, for a period, really liked zombie movies. But I think
Mhm.
the thing is that I like zombie movies of a certain time frame. Like
Yes.
I can't remember. I guess the Dawn of the Dead remake was okay for what it was, but
Mhm.
even that was like 2003, I think.
Yeah.
Um, but I really like the 80s and 90s zombies movies particularly.
Yep.
But I will say that I had very recently came around on zombie because I remember I was always the horror nerd in my friend group.
Yep.
And I was a massive Romero fan, like an annoying little nerd about it. And I remember we were probably like 15, maybe 16. And my friend was like, dude, I saw this movie called Zombie, or like we heard about it. He's like, it's so violent. He was referring to the eyeball scene.
Oh, iconic. Yes.
Yeah. And he's
Love
like, we're going to rent it and we're going to like watch it. And it'll be like awesome. Like, it'll be like a whole thing. And I remember watching it. And I think I probably was just being like a angsty little shit who was like, fuck you, Romero's better.
Yeah.
But like, I hated it. I remember being like, fuck, I was like, this movie sucks. Blah, blah, blah. Like, and I fucking hated it. And I didn't watch it for years. I mean, decade, like at least a decade. No. I legitimately think the first time I watched it since then was Joe Bob did it as a watch along last year, I believe. It might have been the year before, but I think it was last year. And I was like, oh God, I don't want to watch this, but I watch every Joe Bob movie. So I fucking sat there with my beer and I watched it and I thought it was fucking great.
Yes. And I love that because I feel like you get like a new like outlook on something after you revisit it after such a long period of time, because I think that it kind of like, hopefully that's me for X, you know what I mean? Like, hopefully I can watch it in a couple of years and have a new appreciation for it. But until then, like, and I'm glad that you saw that part of it, because I mean, I feel like it's Fulci. It's how his movies are. They're kind of crazy. They're over the top gory. They're a little bit like, the one part that I love is the girl that's scuba diving and she's in a white bikini and she has like this little, and it's so 80s, but she has like this little tiny G-string white bikini on with no top. Oh. And she goes scuba diving and she's like completely sunburned and the guy's just like watching her. It's just so weird.
I remember distinctly, that was like when I was watching it, like for the second time, within the last year. And I remember being like, I'm like, how did I not like this movie? It's got like all kinds of stuff I love in it. It's got boobs, it's got zombies, it's got sharks, it's got a lot of boobs.
It's that scene too. Like, I remember the first time watching it, and that shark was real. That guy, like, I feel like, who did I just discuss this with? I don't think he gets his flowers. Her name is Pearl on X, and she's like really close with John. Like, we always talk and we always share each other's stuff, but she's just like, he never gets recognition for like such an amazing job of being a part of that scene and making it as magical as it is. And the music on top, I sit there bobbing my seat and I hear, and I just love it. It just gets my blood flowing, and I love it.
It is a good one, and I'm happy that I came around on. I still think Romero's better. Still have that angsty little shit inside of me, but I am glad that I've come around and actually I think it's good. It's a fun watch. It's just totally different. It's a very different take on zombies, I feel like, and it's a blast. And honestly, yes, it's got some, I mean, just the eyeball scene and the fucking shark scene alone, plus them tits in the beginning. Those are three things that are just, that sold me. All right. That's what I'm into.
Top of the checklist, gore, fucking boobs, and whatever else you want to add to it. But you know what? This was a lot of fun, and I'm happy that we had such a variety and spice to life in different categories, because I feel like these movies really represent us as who we are.
Yeah, and I'm hopefully, just like we were talking, and there's movies that we're gonna we've discovered through each other. Hopefully, some people out there have discovered some movies. Give us some of your crazy off the wall letters, or if you really want to, give us your whole fucking ABCs. But that was the ABCs of the Feature Creatures, and I just like, rate, subscribe, do all the fun stuff.
Please. And also thank you for tuning back in, to everyone that's listening, continuing to listen. I just wanted to throw that out there. We appreciate you more than anything, and we love doing this, and hopefully you guys love it in return.
Hell yeah. So we'll see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.